Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's fourth and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's final video. So day 10 will take us around the 20th of September. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. They run around a couple of weeks. And I'll have a look at the CFS V2 for October at the end of the video. So more about that in a second. Just say that the first video released today was our 7 AM forecast. We also released the ECM WF 42-day / 6 weeks forecast UK and for Ireland as well as GMA Friday. It's been a busy day at GavsWeatherVids today, so please like, share, subscribe on all of the videos if you are enjoying the content. We'll be live streaming after 10 PM tonight, so I shall see you for a bit of a Friday night live stream after 10. So just say about subs, we are very close to 12k subscribers now. We've got to put on around about 35 now to get to 12k subs, moving quite quickly. When we get 12k, we are going to be giving away a bit of GavsWeatherVids merch. We give away 2 pillows. So if you'd like to enter that, then just email me directly at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com or respond to Sav's post in the giveaway channel in the GavsWeatherVids Discord server with the response with a snow emoji. And yeah, you know, we are very, very close to 12k subscribers now, and we've not got much longer to go. And when we get to 12k, we'll give away that merch to 2 people in a live stream when we hit 12k. So exciting times ahead. Thank you so much, everybody, for getting us this far. And let's try and get to 12k this month. Would be great if we could, wouldn't it? Right, so Conservative Chocolate Atlantic got 3 interest areas, 2 orange X's and Hurricane Larry. So this X down here has gone orange, actually. That was yellow yesterday. There's now a 70% chance of cyclone formation with this in the next 5 days, 40% in the next 2 days. Lot to read about that. But essentially, they're saying that a tropical depression is likely to form Sunday or Monday before the system moves onshore along the western Gulf of Mexico coast. So it does look as though that one is quite likely to become some sort of a tropical storm in the next 5 days. We also have this orange X just here over Africa at the moment. That disturbance too. 50% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days. A 70% chance in the next 5 days, 50% in the next 2 days, 70 in the next 5 days. They say a strong tropical wave is expected to emerge off the west coast of Africa by tonight. Environmental conditions are forecast to be conducive for gradual development thereafter, and a tropical depression is likely to form late this weekend or early next week as this system moves west-northwestwards over the far eastern Atlantic near the Cabo Verde Islands. Interest in the Cabo Verde Islands should monitor progress of this system. So it's going to go in this sort of direction. And even as early as there, it could be like a tropical storm. And then, of course, it will move out into the wider waters of the Atlantic, and we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But that could well be our next significant Atlantic tropical storm and hurricane. And then we've got Larry up here. So this is now a Category 1 hurricane. Hurricane Larry giving maximum sustained winds of 85 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 968 millibars. Clicking on Larry, we can see that this is going to stay as a hurricane as it moves east of Nova Scotia tomorrow, and then we'll go post-tropical as it gets into towards southern Greenland on Sunday. So that will be the end of Larry, of course. Right, CT looks like this. Coming back home, central temperature is at 18.1 now. That's ticked up ever so slightly from yesterday. 3.6 degrees above average provisional to the 9. I think that's as high as it's going to get. I think it will now start gradually either holding stable or lowering. I think it'll gradually start to reduce over the next few days. So I don't think that will get any higher than 18.1. We will see when it updates tomorrow, but I would suspect tomorrow will either hold steady or may even drop by a couple of tenths of a degree. So I reckon that's the peak of CT for this September. It is a very, very high peak. 18 degrees, you know, in September is absolutely phenomenal, really. GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles are looking like this one at Edinburgh today. So red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for Edinburgh. We're starting off still significantly warmer than average. You know, has cooled down a lot compared to what we had a few days ago, but nevertheless, we're still at around 10 degrees at 850 HPA, which is pretty hot. By the end of the weekend, we're going to be going a little bit cooler than average, though, but not for long. It ticks back up again. I mean, just hold steady, sort of average to slightly above average, really, as we go into the final week of September. So nothing overly dramatic showing up there. Certainly nowhere as hot as it has been through the first week of September. Precipitation-wise, does look quite a lot more unsettled as well. So precipitation bites there associated with the breakdown of the heat wave still. And then beyond that, just showery really over the next few days. The south and east probably get the driest weather over the weekend. And then, you know, through the second half of September, just looks quite unsettled. It definitely looks like we've got a more unsettled flavour to the weather coming up over the next couple of weeks compared to what we've had through the early part of September. Temperature anomalies look like this, so they're coming out warmer than average on the 10th through to the 18th of September. I'm just going to get the precipitation anomaly up, so let's do that, shall we? So precipitation anomalies look like this, varying from area to area from the 10th to the 18th of September, a little bit warmer than average for more southern areas, a little bit wetter than average to Ireland, and a little bit drier than average for eastern parts of England, a little bit near normal to a bit wetter than average for Scotland. So it does vary from area to area, but not particularly wet, except perhaps over Ireland, to be honest. Latest wind from map from Autumnal.net shows that low pressure is in control of the weather. So we've got a trough of low pressure sitting right over top of the country. There it is, and around that we are bringing wind from off the Atlantic, so that's the reason temperatures are lowering. Right, this UK Met is looking for midnight on Monday. So we've got a ridge trying to extend in from the north, but a little area of low pressure, a trough of low pressure, will come mooching in from off the Atlantic during Tuesday and into Wednesday. That's likely to bring showery conditions around the middle part of the week. Then back into another ridge towards the end of the week before that's just ahead of low pressure in the Atlantic deepening before this low pressure comes in and probably gives us a spell of wind and rain right at the end of next week. That's as far as we get with UK Met to Friday the 17th of September. This is how the GFS midnight run is looking, again under a bit of a transient ridge on Monday. That will give way to a trough, though, moving in from off the Atlantic through Tuesday and Wednesday, probably bringing in showery spells of rain. Then another little transient ridge builds up around Thursday, but that, again, only ahead of this next low in the Atlantic, that's deepening through Friday. And so into next weekend, this low pressure comes pushing in, brings a band of rain, and also probably brings quite strong winds to northwestern areas. It's not a washout pattern, this, but it is more unsettled than we've had. And there will be rain coming and going, particularly for more northern and western areas. That's how we look at day 10. So rather showery at day 10, although we are trying to build another little transient ridge in the Atlantic. But again, quite a deep area of low pressure there to the south of Greenland. And that one comes moving in the extended range. So definitely the idea is there, I think, within model output today, that that there will be a more unsettled flavour to the weather through the second half of September. It's not a washout pattern, but definitely rain coming and going. Often quite warm, though, with winds continuing to be from a southwesterly direction. So not cold, generally, but more unsettled. 6Z looks like that. So, again, we've got a little bit of a ridge trying to build for Monday. But, again, this trough then comes in for Tuesday and Wednesday. That's likely to bring more showery conditions. Another little ridge there through Thursday. That's quite transient ahead of this next low coming in on Friday. That will bring a band of rain, particularly to northern and western areas. And then heading up towards day 10, again, low pressure to the northwest of Scotland, deepening, looking quite autumnal with that low. That brings wet and windy weather to Scotland, Northern Ireland, England and Wales, probably still holding that off just about under a slight little transient ridge. But again, increasingly unsettled look to weather as we go into the extended range with the 6 That does actually look genuinely autumnal there by 24th of September. Deep low to west of Scotland at around 970 millibars, bring gale force winds and heavy rain from off the Atlantic. And we finish up still looking pretty unsettled with low pressure well and truly in the ascendancy. So gradually, things are inching their way to a more unsettled and autumnal sort of flavour with the GFS output today. GM looks like that. Again, a ridge of high pressure through the country on Monday. It's quite a transient ridge, though. Gives way to a trough of low pressure through Tuesday and Wednesday. Another little slight ridge there through Thursday before the next low comes in on Friday. That brings wet weather to most parts of the country at the end of next week. Then a more sustained build of pressure here with the GM through day 9 and 10. So this is day 10, Monday 20th of September. We are under a proper ridge of high pressure there, but already beginning to show signs of weakening with this deepening low in the North Atlantic. So perhaps a couple of days under high pressure, but then back into lower pressure again. And then the ECM looks like that. So once more, we have this slight transient ridge for Monday. Gives way to a trough of low pressure through Tuesday and Wednesday. That could bring some wet weather around the middle part of the week to some places. Another little transient bump there on Thursday before the next low comes in on Friday. That's quite a deep low. Brings some quite heavy rain and some pretty strong winds as well. And then into day 10, just staying rather shallow. We are trying to build up this ridge from the southwest, but I don't think that's going to get too far as low pressure is still deepening to the south of Greenland and Iceland. More mobility, more low pressure coming and going. It's not a washout. There will be drier periods, but it is definitely a more active period of weather coming up. The precipitation forecast looks like that from the ECM run from Meteo.com, or for the ECM run from Meteo.com. So plenty of showers, some of them are heavy over the next few days. And then we get this area of wet weather towards the southwest later in the weekend. Some of that rain could be really quite persistent and heavy. That rain then runs along the south coast as we go through into the early part of next week. Perhaps brings a soaking to southern counties through the early part of next week. And then we're into showery conditions as we get through into the middle of next week. Probably mostly dry for a while. But by the end of the week, a band of quite heavy rain moving in from off the Atlantic, bringing most of us a spell of wet weather towards the end of next week and next weekend. And then up to day 10, quite wet towards the north and west, a little bit drier in the southeast, but even there, some rain coming and going. That's how it looks as we get to day 10. Clearly, it's more active, and clearly there is more rain around, and it's particularly so for northern and western areas. But even in the south and east, we do get some wet weather at times. Autumn is gradually beginning to slide into view here, I think. These are yachts on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10, which gets us to the 20th of September from the Icelandic Met Office. 21 members of the ECM ensembles have low pressure to our west and northwest, high pressure to our south, and winds coming in from a westerly direction, rather unsettled and showery, particularly so in the north. 14 with a Scandinavian high and low pressure towards the south of Greenland. It includes the control and the operational run. So, you know, that is sort of gently unsettled, I suppose, but is gradually breaking down the higher pressure. 9 looking more unsettled than that, though, with quite deep low pressure over to the west of the country. So, obviously, that's a pretty unsettled scenario. And then 7, with low pressure to the north of Scotland, high pressure to our east and southeast. And again, in come those winds from the west to southwesterly direction. So that one quite unsettled too. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. It will get us to the 25th of September. 17 members of the ECM ensembles look unsettled. Low pressure extending down the western side of Europe. 13 with Scandinavian high battling it out with low pressure to the southwest of Ireland. So that could go in either direction, but it is probably quite unsettled. The 12 look like here, though, have us under high pressure. So obviously that is the driest and most settled of the options. And then 9 just look very unsettled with low pressure over the top of the country and to our east. We could be setting up a switch to a much more unsettled sort of final week or so of September. It's a possibility. Lastly, CFS V2 for October. So these are 700 millibar heights breaking down into, no, we're not. This is a 700 millibar height anomaly for October. And it shows above average heights over and to west of the country. Trough of low pressure in across northern and eastern parts of Europe. This would send a jet stream on a northwest-southeast alignment and the wind flow as well. So northwest-southeast alignment to jet stream and the wind flow. And particularly for northern, northeast Europe, that could be really quite cold actually with that trough of low pressure. Early taste of winter perhaps for Scandinavia and the Baltic Sea sort of areas. For us, we're protected by this ridge to some degree, but it is probably a cooler sort of feel with that wind coming in from the northwest. So the temperature anomaly is close to average or has no signal for the UK and Ireland, but just further eastwards, it is a colder than average month being predicted there through large parts of Europe. And the precipitation anomaly shows no particular signal, but I would have thought a relatively dryish month would be likely, given that we've got high pressure sitting over and to the west of the country. So yes, still anticyclonic as we've had for a while now, for a few months overall. Still quite an anticyclonic signal for October, but potentially a little bit of a colder position for that area of high pressure. Right, so we're done with today's video. So if you've enjoyed today's video, so please can you like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for doing that. Tell your friends to subscribe as well. And help to get us to 12,000 subscribers. It's amazing if you can do that for us. And drop a comment, of course, to let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so much, everyone. Right, we're done with today's vids then. We're going to be live streaming at 10 o'clock tonight, so I should see you live for the Friday night live stream. Tomorrow, we're going to start off 7 AM forecast. We will also, I think, try to review the summer forecast. Have a verification for GavsWeatherVids summer forecast tomorrow morning. So that'll be interesting, see how the summer forecast went. Weekend forecast and a 10 to 14 day as well. And then on Sunday, of course, 7 AM forecast to begin, followed by part 1 of the second winter 2021-2022 update. And we'll be live streaming from 6 PM on Sunday. So a lot coming up on the channel over the weekend. It's going to be epic. It's going to be great. I'll see you either for the live streams or for the uploads. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.